Hey, welcome back to the table. So my normal device is still uploading the victory from the last scenario, but I wanted to get started because it takes a really long time to upload, and I still had some more time tonight to play, so I moved to another device. This one's not bad, I just have to hold it with the hand, so I'm going to be a little bit more wobbly, and it really has a zoomed in angle, but we're going to do fine. Okay, so this scenario, we're up against the Grove Tenders, and it's a little different than the other one. Our objective is not to destroy the enemy fortress. The Chip Theory guys, we played my kids and I played a co-op scenario, and I even recorded it, but I deleted it because we just didn't do very well. It was just not worth even showing or sharing. But these guys like to come up with scenarios that make you do bizarre things. And I think that's fun, but it really would be nice to just have a set of scenarios where I'm just beating someone else's fortress, because that's the whole point of the game, right? But that's not the point of this one. So here's our objectives. We have to defeat the 3 spires that are considered their outpost. Now, what does that mean? What that means is they have 3 outposts here, and they're redonkulous. Look at this thing. It has 3 range, which is actually 4 range, and then 2 attack. And here's one with a fortification, 2 range, and 2 attack. And then this one has 4 range and 1 attack. We have to defeat all 3 of these. That's our first objective. And then once that happens, and all of our mark is... So our units that we produce are actually charging to destroy that. We're not even marching towards that. But the moment that all 3 of those are destroyed, then the units we produce head that way. So that's something to bear in mind. But that's never our objective. Our next objective is to construct 3 of our own spires in the same spots that we just destroyed. And they have to not be defeated until the end of wave 4. And then collect all pieces of research. There are 3 pieces of research out here because we scored 3 objective points 3 renown last time. So we actually accomplished all 3 of our objectives. So there's 3 research tokens, and we have to pick those up. They're like equipment that you have to carry. You have to pick them up and carry them back with your heroes. So we have to go back to the fortress with them. That's probably the biggest pain in the butt because you can only carry 1 at a time. And then one of them is on this hero over here. He's carrying it, Daiwin. So we have to actually defeat this guy who's got, I think, 7 health chips and an attack chip on top. And he has a 2 range. He is dormant until you enter his island, which is this thing. So here's the border. So as soon as somebody steps foot here, he becomes active for the rest of the game. Now the good news is no one's going to step foot there because the units are all going over here. So we can sort of ignore him for most of the game, but we do eventually have to get him and then of course get back. Our third objective, it's just collect the research, bring them back. So if you'll notice, none of these objectives are taking their fortress. If we do defeat their fortress, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, the scenario ends immediately. So that's not good for us. We don't want to defeat their fortress. Now maybe we do if we actually accomplished all the other objectives. And remember, we're not allowed to lose these spires once we replace them with our own. So maybe we want to defeat their fortress then, because then we get to we get to end the mission before they get a chance to destroy our stuff. So there is actually that. This scenario has 5 waves, and remember, we only have to keep our fortresses up for 4 waves. So they win if they defeat our fortress gate, or if they destroy any of our spires after we built them. So that's this second objective here. We have to construct 3, and if we end just constructing any of those 3 and then they're destroyed, they win. Our minions, the mark is the furthest spire from the Grove Tender outpost. Cram the Mighty is not allowed to be used. That's the guy we used last time. Before moving, a friendly hero can pick up research. Hero carrying research will drop it on their hex if they're defeated. Units may occupy the same hex as a piece of research. Heroes may not pick up a piece of research if another unit occupies the same hex, or if they're already carrying research. When a hero returns to their fortress, research they were carrying is considered collected and removed from the hero. Remember, when you return to the fortress, you're done for the wave. So we only get to use 2 heroes in this game, and we have to carry 3 research back. So we're going to be spending a lot of time going out and coming back. The Grove Tenders don't place Earthscapes, but they do purchase them, and you can see that here. Here they're going to purchase an Earthscape on wave 1, and here they possibly could purchase another one. The Daiwin will not move or attack until provoked. That's the thing I was explaining to you. His mark is the closest Brahmin unit, staying at least 2 hexes away to attack from range. And then he's going to level up with a certain priority, but we're going to level him up normally. And then the Grove Tender minions, their initial mark is our fortress gate, but then as soon as we build a new spire down here, then it changes. Now, one thing that's interesting is, let's say we destroy these 3 spires, we can wait until wave 4 to build the 3 spires that we need to defend. We can actually do that because they just have to be alive at the end of wave 4. But we could, let's say we defeated all these in first wave, which I find impossible, but let's say we did. We can go wave 2 and wave 3 with nothing there. That is an option. Now there's a whole bunch of talents, which I didn't bother reading through. But the big one is their summon talent, which is the way Grove Tenders use their promoted side. They use with a summon ability. They only trigger it if they have exactly 1 health. So they don't trigger it otherwise. And there's only certain units in the game that actually do summon ability. So that's it's really interesting. There's like this little tree sap here. Let me see if I can find it. This taproot here. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. The taproot is a 2-range attack thing, and it summons. And then when it summons something, normally what it does is it'll summon like a tree. This guy. He'll summon him, right? And then what happens is they merge together. So this flips over because he can't summon anymore. He just goes to his regular side. Then it flips together, and you'll notice that he also drops to just 1 health, 1 everything, whereas here he's a normal unit. So after he does his summon, he flips over, and then this thing goes on top, and now this is the new unit, and they act like a grouped unit. So the summon, you send these little dudes out, and you can see here they cost 3 command. You send them out, and then they summon these bigger guys, which is sort of interesting. And see, this bigger guy is the upgraded version of this. So you can send out a Treed all by yourself, which is going to be the same 3 command. But this taproot here will summon the upgraded version of Treed, which you can see has more health and whatnot. So it's a little more involved, but you can get the upgraded version of this by using the taproot and otherwise you can just hire one of these guys by themselves. I hope that made sense. I've never played as this particular class, but my son did. So I did learn a little bit about it, but it is still a little nebulous to me. And like I said, this stuff here, we'll read it when we get the actual units on the board that actually do something. So we can see here that there's a shrubbery with cover. So let's look at what that does. Cover. This spire can only be damaged by adjacent units and spires. So in other words, we can't use our range tactic on him. When a taproot is adjacent to this spire, any attack on the taproot is reduced to 1 damage. Okay, so the cover prevents that bum from getting damaged unless we go up next to him. which makes this even harder. Now we're looking over here. This guy here has cover, but these two don't. So we could take these two from far away. Now, one other interesting rule. This is air. We're on islands that are like floating in the sky. This is air here, and this guy can't attack over air. This is like no visibility, no, like if I had my siege engine there, my catapult, I can't attack them either. Now, if I can trace a path going 1, 2, 3, 4, like around, then I can do that, which is interesting because it never says that it has to be 4 away in a straight line, right? But yes, you can't attack over air. These can't be counted. So if this guy wants to hit you, he has to go 1, 2, he has to go down the path to be able to hit you. So that's our only saving grace against those high-range towers. And it's ridiculous. Now, one thing I wanted to point out to you is they start off with this scenario with the question marks, and then you roll a die, and twice I added RRR, and then I added an RRF. I never added the FFF. Like, this actually might have been a little bit nicer because they would have been a high fortified structure, but they're at least not attacking you from a million miles away. Okay, this is an example of our waves. There is no event in wave 1, but there will be an event in future waves. And the event die actually has one outcome that we want, this one. So if I roll a 1 or a 2, I remove the bottom upgrade from one of our spires, but I also get to remove one of their spires. Remove one from them. Now, why is it that I'm excited about that? Well, if I build these drilling outposts, take a look here, they come with fortifications. So remember, these drilling outposts, I usually build them and then destroy them at the end of the round. Well, if I roll a 1 or a 2 on the event die, I'm just going to destroy this one, this upgrade, so all my other spires are going to be totally safe. And then in exchange, I'm going to get rid of one of the nasty ones on one of these other spires. That is a win for me, a huge win. So these drilling outposts, as long as I have one in play, I can always just take one away from them. But I have to roll a 1 or a 2. So we're going to be praying to the RNG for that. A 3 or a 4 makes the die win attack go up again, which is awful, just absolutely awful. And then a 5 or a 6 puts a landmark on all source wells, which is also awful because the landmarks we have to remove them in order for us to be able to build our towers. So not a big fan of that either. Now, one tower in particular that I need to do something about is, and I apologize, I'm fixing a landmark problem. This one right here. We need to take this one out. And the reason is, if I build a siege tower here, and he has a range of 2 or 3, I can start sieging them from this spot. And that's a very important spot to be, because their units aren't going to be destroying us at all, because they're going to be moving along trying to destroy our home. So that's the idea. Now, what did I take away? I took away an expansion pack one, which was this. These things, I don't like them. They give you, they're basically portals that are rift walk, and there's 2 of them in the game, and they're great if you actually have both of them in play, but they're stupid if you only have one. And so I'm not sure that the expansion pack is all that great. I think these are helpful and handy if you're playing on a larger scenario where you have more of these out on the board. And then obviously you're randomly picking these, and then if you get both of these on the board, that's great. Now you have ability to teleport across the board. But on a scenario like this, these are stupid. So I'm putting them aside, and I'm not going to use them. And then even these ones here with the little mist, those are also expansion. They could turn out to be pretty weird. The expansion, the Portal Seekers one, I'm not too impressed with it so far. I think it's more helpful in a player versus player, but when you're trying to mix it into these solitaire scenarios. I don't think that they were designed with these expansion ones in mind. And I'm sure someone's going to snap and say, "Yes, they were." That's fine. I'm just telling you, I don't really care about that. Having one out of the two portals in the game and the other one not in the game, it's not cool. Now, obviously, if I can place another landmark on the source wells, then maybe, the other portal could appear or whatever, but I'm not interested in that. And then the reason I was really upset about it is that the portal was right here on this spot, and I'm not having that. If I'm going to win this scenario, my only hope is to build a siege engine right here. And if I have a freaking portal here, which means I can never move it or destroy it or do anything, that means I can never build a siege engine there, and this mission is just too impossible. So I could either play this out and lose the scenario and spend 2 hours doing it, or I'm just going to replace the chip, which is what I just did. So if that portal would have appeared anywhere else, I think I would have been okay with it. But right there, no. I think that is a critical element towards winning this scenario, is getting a siege tower there, because these three towers here don't attack other towers. So the siege spire is a very unique spire that can destroy other spire. It's a pretty nice little thing that this particular faction has. And it's very unique to this faction. Okay. Have I talked long enough? Rado would say yes. Undead Viking would say no. But I think we're good. And those are both great guys. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm checking my other device. And oh no. I thought it was just going to get, it said it was finishing. Oh my gosh, now it's processing again. Okay, so it could be another 2 hours. All right, so let's keep going then. Let's start. Here's the good news, wonderful news. We actually get income, 5 source. And I was realizing that I'm not always following the steps of the turn in proper order. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this again and keep this as a reference. So we do the event phase, which is skipped in wave 1. In this situation, it's also skipped in wave 1. Okay, and so then we're going to get 5 source for our income, which I already did. And then we do our market phase. Now, the grove tenders go first. And in the market phase, they are purchasing the earthscape. Now, they don't do anything with the earthscape. It just means it's gone. And one rule that I never explained, because this is the first time it's going to happen, is it's my turn to purchase, and I can reveal the next one, but I'm not allowed to buy it. And oh, the next one's an error. This is an expansion pack one, by the way. I don't know if this one's going to be helpful to us either. In fact, this is an awful one to draw. I may take this out. And here's why. Where would I put it? I mean, I guess I could, do something like this. But you don't even get a free tower with this. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. This is another expansion pack thing. You don't have to play a scenario with the expansion pack components. So I'm going to take that out, and let's do the next one. Okay, here's the thing. As far as the market's concerned, on my turn, one of these was purchased. I am not allowed to purchase an earthscape. And an earthscape can only be purchased once per wave. So technically speaking, you can leave it just like this, and then during the next market phase, we'll flip it over. So I get a choice. I can buy the Tower of Babel, and it's got really long range and 1 attack and a lookout of 4. Now, what lookout does is it reveals these landmarks that are within 4 spaces of wherever this tower is. It costs 6 source to buy this guy. I think the only reason I would buy him is for the ridiculous range. Otherwise, I'm not very impressed. This degradation, I don't like at all. He loses the bottom 2 upgrades every round. That's awful. This guy, however, looks awesome. He is 4 source, and he's a hero. Obviously, he moves 3 or whatever, but he has leech. And what that means is that whatever damage he does to other people, he restores in health for himself. So obviously, if I can get him upgraded a little bit, he can maybe do some good damage. He does not obviously promote, so he's the best I'm going to be able to do is get him to 3 attack because he has 2 upgrade pips. But I still think that's pretty good. His health is super low, though. Anyways, that's an option. I'm only allowed to do 1 hero this round. So if I did purchase him, I would have to keep him off to the side. And remember, you can only have 2 heroes in the game. So if I get this guy, then that means I'm not using one of my other heroes. At least not until he dies. But this is an option for us because if our heroes die, you need a hero to carry these research tokens. And this might be the guy you can hire at the last minute to go get some research tokens. Okay, so I'm not buying anything from the market. I'm not interested in any of this. I'm keeping my 5 source. So what am I going to do with my 5 source? Well, I'm going to spend 3 of it and do the same thing I did last time. And I'm upgrading my source drill to level 1. So that way we produce 3 source every wave at the beginning of every wave. And since this is a 5-wave scenario, that's going to be extra bonus for us. I could have built a drilling mine, but I felt like this one was the superior option. And I only have 2 source left, so there's nothing I can buy for 2 source at the moment. I mean, I could, yeah, I don't even think I can buy, nope, nothing. So I need to earn some source. Next thing we do is we're going to look at the grove tenders here. So you can see here, they're bringing out 2 taproots, which of course is going to be on the summon side. And then if they do a summon, it's going to be a Warbriar. That's what they're going to summon, which is this guy right here. So they'll summon the upgraded side. All right, they're each in their own group, and they each have 3 health. Now remember, we looked up the special rules. Summon is written on, obviously, the player aid for the grove tenders. And the grove tenders can upgrade these taproots into anything. But remember, when you're playing solitaire, you're limited to the AI talent triggers that are here. So this trumps whatever's written on your sheet. And remember, this you have to be at exactly 1 health or they don't summon. So if we can figure out how to kill them without getting them down to just 1 health, then we can actually be sneaky and prevent the warbear from coming. And I know I'm putting this down, but that's the best I can do for now. And I'm putting these over on their fortress gate, like so. And I just knocked that over. Okay. All right, strategy-wise, I want to get my hero leveled up a little bit. I think, obviously, I'm going to try to explore a few of these. This little research up here is annoying because it's got its own special tower. That tower is going to definitely do some damage to our hero. And I don't have Cram the Mighty anymore, which had a ridiculous amount of health. So this is going to be a lot harder task. That research token down there is just a nightmare because of all the towers. But like I said, I think I want to get down here and get this thing revealed because then I can build a siege tower and start taking some of these down. I won't be able to hit this one because this one you have to be adjacent. But if I can take both of these down, that's a huge victory. Okay, I want to get that siege tower up as soon as possible. I don't have the ability to even build a siege tower right now, so that's why I increased my source. We're going to get 7 source next round. So between that and we're actually going to get 10 because of this, and then whatever other source we're going to get from killing things. That's what I'm hoping to use to get our upgrades that we need so we can build that siege tower. All right, so what can we build? We're going to spend 5 CP, and I'm going to take the 0 cost hero. He's a freebie, and he has the hunter ability, which if you look on our sheet, the hunter ability basically means he gets +1 attack against landmarks. So he'll do 2 damage against landmarks. He's the perfect guy to start the game with because, like I told you, we want to go after landmarks. So let's do it. And just bear in mind, the shrubbery has a range of 3. 1, 2, 3. So he's going to be able to hit us here. So I got to be careful. All right. So we got Osh, if that's his name, and 3 health for him. And I'm putting him on the bottom. And we have how many CP? 5. 5 CP. Actually, this very much follows the standard progression that you see here. It's following it to the letter. It's just that we now have a 5th wave that goes to 13. Okay, so we get to spend 5. The Architect is nice. The thing about the Architect, and we may have to board game geek it, but can the Architect build a drilling tower? The Architect gets to... You can just... Oh no, he can only construct a dispatch platform. It says it flat out on him. Or he can promote a dispatch platform to a siege tower. That's all he can do. Or add an upgrade. So yeah, I asked that question I think last time too. So my apologies. Short-term memory disorder. Okay, so we have 5. We got... we're going to get blasted from these towers from very far away. So I think all I want to do is use whoever I get to help me conquer these landmarks. So I guess I'm doing a 3 and a 2. I'll put the Battleborn on top. So 3. Now the other thing about this guy is take note, unlike Cram the Mighty, who can go anywhere, I can only go on woods. And actually, Cram the Mighty can only go on mountains, and I think I moved him on water in the last scenario. So please forgive me. I think there was always another way I could have gone and still gotten... I don't think it would have changed the outcome, but I think I moved him over water once. Wasn't supposed to do that. So this one's limited even more. He can only go on forest, so he can't go on mountains. But the good news here is there's not a lot of mountain spaces. So we're going to go ahead and put our units here, and they go first. So let's see what they do. We come over to here, and this guy is going to move 1, 2. And this guy is going to move 1. Done. We don't have any towers. He doesn't get to attack. Okay, our guy is going to move 1, 2. And then we're going to move 1. Okay. This tower up here does get to attack with 2 dice against the Battleborn, which means we're going to die quick. Oh no. That is ridiculous. Okay, so the Battleborn's already dead. And now all we have left is the dispatch, which at least the good news there is the dispatch is at full health. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and reveal this one first. Let's explore. And we encountered this guy before. He damages us every time we move. However, I don't do a lot of damage this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4 health for him. And it's going to take everything I have to kill him. Let's reveal this other one. It is the Thorax that also does toxic secretion. I'm going to choose to leave him face down because I don't need 2 of them to be killing me yet. This is bad news, but during our attack, this guy with 2 range is going to kill 1. And then we, with the Hunter, we only do 1 damage, but he's got Hunter, so he does 2 damage. So it's not quite enough to kill him. And I have to think about this. but I think I am going to reveal this one. Am I? No, we're not. Okay, so I think that's the end of our turn. So now it's their turn. So they're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's it for them. So now it goes to us, and we're gonna go 1, 2, and this thing has 1, 2, 3, 4 range. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this guy can hit him, which is ridiculous. Let's make sure we look up our range thing here, because I think I'm doing it right. I am not doing it right. The way range works is it's radial. So this is the center of the circle, and it just radiates outward. So when you radiate outward from here, his range goes this way. And then his range goes this way. Now, it can also go this way, right? Because it's going up the spine. But there's air here. So this blocks him from seeing him. So I don't get hit. So good. That's very good. And then the part that I was hemming and hawing about is I wanted to use him to attack this. But I didn't want, because when he moved here, this thing does 1 damage to him because of the toxic secretion. And if this guy was also available, they both would have done it. So I don't want to do that. But I am going to reveal this one. And it's an engage. It's a Traxier Roughneck. So this is a bad one for us because we're right next to him. So he's going to be able to retaliate. That's why he's bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we have to engage him, which means we have to attack him. And at range, we would have done a wonderful job, but we're not at range. And then he's going to do 2 damage back, and our guy is dead already. We've lost all of our minions. Okay, now the good news is our hero, who did not move because we don't want to get hit by them, we're going to go ahead and kill this guy. And we get 4 source, which that is amazeballs. It's one of those swamp ones. So 2 plus 4 is 6. And we get to level up. We have 1 pip. So obviously I am taking attack. Attack is important. Although he's very low in health, but we're going to take an attack with him. And yes, we now can do 2 damage with him, which would be 3 against a one of these landmarks. The unfortunate part is with the 2 damage, we would cause those taproots to execute their summon. So that's the part that hurts. It's the end of our turn. So now it's their turn. And this guy's going to go 1, 2, and 1, 2. He has a 2 range, so he doesn't hit anything for his attack. And now it's our turn. So those 2 range attacks actually will damage a tower. So if I built a tower, those guys would actually attack our towers and reduce them, unless I had a fortification at the bottom. So I have 6 health here. I mean, the only tower I can build is this for 4, and it would have 2 upgrades on it, and then I would need 3 more to get a 3rd upgrade, which would be the construction or the fortification. The reason I say this is because the fortification is necessary to prevent them from degrading this thing, because those taproots are going to come up and damage it. Now, the good news is the first taproot here would actually make it to my hero. So what I can do is I can move my hero here, so that way both taproots can come up and attack me. But the moment I destroy all the taproots, my hero is done for or wave one's over. Such a dilemma. Just don't have really great choices here. So if I build this, I'm spending 4 of my source to build this. I will get to damage a taproot with it, but the taproot's just going to attack it because it's right here. I mean, they're going to move up right next to it. Otherwise, my hero is going to take 2 damage. Oh, what a pickle this is. I think I have to let my hero take the damage. I don't know if I want to lose the source. Oh, this has splash. I gotta build it. So I'm gonna spend 4, I'm down to 2 source. And I'm gonna build this guy with 1 attack and 1 range. And I guess I could build him back here. I didn't even think about that. I can build it further back like this, but I'm gonna build it here. That's the goal. And then my hero, I would love to go up and kill that. Ooh. I'm gonna do that. So I'm moving to here, and then I want to move here and reveal this, so that way when they move in, this thorax does damage to them. The problem I have is this little jerk is going to attack my hero here because I'm in his range. And this hero doesn't have armor. I mean, just a typical 2 dice roll. I mean, look, that would be 3 damage. That would actually kill my hero. I should have revealed that. I really should have. Now I need to get somehow... Now by moving where the hero is now, I can reveal this. I have to stay back. I'm staying back. Gonna let them do what they do. And you know what? They're not even going to attack the tower, now that I think about it. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. I don't get to attack, I don't get to do anything. I built the tower, I'm down to 2 source. So this guy's gonna move up 1, 2. And this one's going to move up 1, 2, and then now I'm going to use my splash ability. I have to attack here because I don't want to damage me. Once again, it would have been nice if this was revealed because my splash would have hurt him too. But I'm going to use my splash ability and attack him. Oops, that went all the way to the floor. Sorry, gotta put this down. Okay. 1 damage. So they both take 1 damage because of the splash. All right, so this one, they're both going to attack the hero. So I take 1 damage and then another 1 damage because they're both attacking me. All right, so the hero does retaliate against this one, and I do 2 damage to him. And so I kill him and I gain 2 source. See, all of this was to prevent them from summoning. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to prevent them from summoning. And we get our 2 source, which puts us up to 4. Okay, so now it becomes our turn. my hero is going to move into the fortress, which then allows it to heal. So I'm back to full health. I didn't die, but I'm also out for the wave. So then it's their turn, and this guy's going to move 1, 2, and now we're going to attack with our tower. And I do 1 damage. Now here's the part that's scary, is he's now going to summon. And it triggers immediately according to the thing, and he's going to make a War Briar, which is this guy upgraded. So he goes on with 4 health, unfortunately. So we got ourselves a little bit of a pickle. So now this guy, he does Impale. Impale is... at the end of this unit's movement, it deals 1 damage to all adjacent opposing units that it was not adjacent to prior. So it's like a cavalry with spear. But there's no units. This is not a unit, it's a spire. Okay, so they came in, we did the damage to them. Now it's their turn, and they're going to do 2 damage to our fortress. Dang it. We're already taking the damage. And then the fortress does 1 damage to him. So now it's our turn. We do nothing. I do have 4 source. I'm not going to build anything. So now it's their turn. They aren't moving. So I'm going to roll for our tower. So we do 1 damage to him. He's going to do 2 damage to our fortress. And then the fortress does 1 to him. Our turn, nothing. Their turn. We kill the Warbriar, and we get 1 source for that. Oh, by the way, this would have been flipped over. So we get 1 source for the Warbriar. And now they get to attack, and this guy will do 1 damage to our fortress. We're down to 5 health. But the fortress then kills him. He only had 1 health, and we get 2 source. So that was a very brutal round. We are now up to 7 source. Okay, so we're moving on to wave 2. My device is ready, so I'm going to go ahead and switch devices. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.